He is synonymous with New York Knicks basketball Hall of Famer, broadcasting Hall of Famer as well. And he was there, the longtime voice of the Knicks, 1970, 1973. And we welcome back Marv Albert. How do you feel today, Marv?
Hey, Dan. Great to talk to you. I feel good, and it's a privilege to know that my former broadcast partner, Reggie Miller, is on deck waiting after me. Which we had so many laughs and such good times doing the games on mostly for the, I would say most of the way for TNT.
What do you remember about 1970, 1973 with these Knicks teams?
Well, I find that those Knicks, I know people are saying this is the greatest Knicks team of all time, but the game is so much faster. And, of course, there's now the three-point play. But I thought that team would have to be considered number one, as great as the current Knicks are. But you had Bill Bradley, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe in 73. You had just an incredible group of players, Dave DeBusschere, and skipping somebody, Dick Barnett was the other guard. But I thought that what they did to get DeBusschere was the Knicks' best acquisition since Jalen Brunson. DeBusschere was acquired for Walt Bellamy and Howard Komars, which was an incredible trade for the Knicks. It just turned everything around. Then they got Earl Monroe for who was available for 73. That also was a huge trade, and eventually Jerry Lucas. But those teams were spectacular the way they moved the ball around. You had some of the greatest players of all time, and I think if they played today, with the same training programs and the same type of situation, they would be outstanding. They'd be contenders also every year. But not to take anything away from this year's team, it was just unbelievable what they did, because they were actually not the same team that we saw in the regular season. Even though they won 53 games, they were behind Detroit and Boston, and you just didn't know what you were going to get, and it all came together in the playoffs. So, first of all, Mike Brown made so many excellent moves, particularly early in the series against the Spurs, using Karl Anthony Towns as more of a facilitator, and was a huge part of it in terms of setting things up and being like a point center. I think Mike did a great job with that.
Yeah, I go back to the 70 and 73 teams, and I know we're kind of held in the moment here, creatures of the moment, with Jalen Brunson, greatest Knick of all time, and I always say, win another title, then we can have the conversation, because I would still put Willis Reed and Walt Frazier up there. Your thoughts?
Totally agree. Yes, no question. It could be eventually. Brunson has been a terrific player, clutch player, when you consider his height, 6'2", maybe 6'1", how well he has done, and there's such an unselfish team, much of that due to the fact of the play of people like Brunson and Hart. It was the Villanova group, that really brought them into the kind of stardom that we saw this season. But, I would agree. You'd have to have Clyde and you'd have to have Willis in that group. I would put, at this point, it could change in a couple of years, but at this point, I'd have Brunson as number 3, which isn't bad when you consider all the players that have been on that roster.
Why did it take 53 years, Marv?
There were some bad decisions along the way. I think that they finally got the right group together. I thought that the combination of Leon Rose, the team president, who was once a super agent, but he made a series of spectacular moves that were incredible. He got Mikal Bridges for 5. people were questioning it at the time because it was 5 number 1 draft picks. He acquired Jalen, Brunson, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. That's a pretty impressive resume. And that just changed everything. And they're so unselfish. They also happen to be a terrific group of guys, you know, who all get along. He added to the team, though. He made them into the team that we saw in the playoffs, because they weren't this team at parts of the season, but the regular season is so different, as you know, than the playoffs. And we saw a Knicks team that is actually 9-10 deep. Even a guy like Josh Alvarado, who he got from New Orleans, played a major role. You know, playing the backcourt, that was probably the smallest backcourt in the NBA. But coming in spots and playing so well during the course of the playoffs. And then they go on and win 13 straight games, which is unheard of, you know, through the playoff run.
Do you find yourself watching maybe Game 4 and saying, boy, I wish I was calling that game?
You know, I've gotten away from that. I really have. I mean, I remember some early season games from time to time since I retired, and I said, boy, that'd be fun to call. But, you know, Mike Breen did such a great job, I thought. And it's once it's over, it's really over. I would enjoy the games. I watch so much basketball, so much baseball, which is fun. I am Mr. Binge TV also, it should be pointed out. I lead the streaming chase, so I'm really enjoying myself.
He's Marv Albert, Basketball Hall of Famer, longtime voice of the Knicks and the Rangers there in 1970, 1973, and of course NBA on NBC, NBA on TNT, play-by-play. How often did you find yourself having to bite your tongue and not be critical of the Knicks when you were doing, you know, strictly Knicks games?
Well, I was critical at times. I didn't feel I had to bite my tongue. I always felt it was very important to tell what was happening because people would see it. So, I mean, not to kill them, but I think you have to point out mistakes. There were not many mistakes in the Red Holzman era when you had, that group of Reed and DeBusschere and Frazier and so on, Bradley. And that was a fun group to be around. I mean, Bill will be traveling with a load of books on every road trip. In fact, he joined the team after being at Oxford. He didn't come to them right away. In fact, he played. I remember he told me the story. He was doing play-by-play of himself, as we all did when we shoot around the schoolyard or whatever. And I asked him for a sample one day of what his play-by-play sounded like. So he said to me he would, but it would break my heart.
Oh, look who's here to say hello. Reggie Miller joining us now, Marv.
Oh, look, Reggie coming in. There must be some free food somewhere.
Hey, look, I just wanted to hop on here really quick and say this about the Marvelous One. Because of this, of the Knicks winning this championship, there's a few people that deservingly should be getting a ring. And, I reached out to Spike, long time, was there good, bad, the ugly. The Marvelous One is in that category for what he has meant to the game of basketball. But when you think of Knicks basketball, I will always think of the voice of the NBA, and that's the Marvelous One. And I know he's been a little bit removed from the game recently, but I learned a lot of how I approach games just by listening and being side by side with the Marvelous One. So I know everyone's celebrating in New York. Marv, I hope I think I saw an Instagram post of you jumping on a bus or something like that during the celebration. I think that was you, Marvelous. You were out there with a lot of those young guys. Congratulations, Marv, the marvelous one. You deserve this.
Thank you for the extremely kind words. I miss you. You know, what Reggie and I used to do is we would tour the hotels that we went to on the road before, making certain that we'd accept the room. We'd be like hunting down good rooms, and I always enjoyed that. And of course, all the meals we had, all the laughs. You were so great to work with, and did, such an amazing job. So I miss those days. I really do.
Reg, we miss you, Marvelous.
Reg, I'll talk to you in a minute here. Let me say goodbye to Marv, and thank you for jumping on. Marv, are you getting a championship ring?
For this team? No. I did for the previous two. No, I really have nothing to do with the current teams. That's not going to happen. But I have the previous ones, which were locked away in a drawer in my office.
Well, you got to bring them out this week.
You think so? Yeah.
I don't know who you're going to show them off to.
Yeah, well, my wife I could show them off to, we have 3 pugs. They would enjoy it, but they'd probably try to take a bite out of it,
But thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Couldn't help.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, couldn't help but think of you with 53 years ago.
Thank you. And ask Reggie some really tough questions.
I'll grill him, Marv.
Yeah, grill him, yeah.
Thank you, Marv.
All right, Dan. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
That's Marv Albert, Hall of Famer.